Hey plant family, what's up? What's good? This is your girl Nikki, aka the Bayou Chick. I am back with a video. I was asked a few questions and I wanted to come and answer the questions. I wanted to make an infographic, but it was way too much information to put in that form. So I realized it required a video of some sort to answer it. And I was actually just going to type it all up, but I realized some people may understand it a little bit better if they see it written, or if they hear somebody say it, maybe they'll retain the information or understand it. I do tend to speak fast. If I say something and you don't understand it or you need more clarification, please feel free to let me know and I will answer it as best to my ability as I can. Okay, so as you know, like, I'm not new to growing industrial type of plants. I come from a big ag family. We've done, cotton and soybean, corn, those type of plants. On a personal level, and most of the groups, I just talk about my personal crops, my personal home plants, house plants. I don't do a lot of talking about like the things that we do from the big ag standpoint. I don't feel like it's really, necessary to go that deep in those kind of groups. But because Louisiana, the governor just passed a law that made it legal now to become certified to basically grow your own hemp, to become a hemp producer, to get certified, and you can grow it. I really want to get more people, more of us. I want us to have more equity in the game, and I want to basically just help educate us so that, if you already have a green thumb, if you're curious, if you're looking at the way to make some money, y'all, honestly, is in consumables, if I'm being real. So I just wanted to basically just share this information, put it out there. Maybe it may not be for you right now, maybe another time, maybe it may not be for you, period, but maybe you can share it with someone else. So I just don't want people to basically feel like, oh, it's too much, they don't know what they're doing, or it's not something that they really are going to be able to do. Because if you can grow tomatoes from seed, you definitely can grow hemp. So this was the question that Amber had asked me about on a video or something I had posted about hemp. She wanted to know, how do you grow hemp? Is there a specific strand? Does CBD and hemp come from the same plant? And she also wanted me to kind of, go in detail about the THC content. She has a group, Sister Garden, but she's also in a lot of the other Black plant groups for women. So check her out. She's chock full of information as well. Okay, so as you can tell, could not do an infographic. It was just a lot of information. And even this, I kind of felt like I needed to erase this and go to another page. So let's start. So, got a green thumb, curious about hemp. So basically, you're going to get a seed. I'm going to try not to go too in depth. You can always do transplants. You can do drones and everything. But I'm going to start real basic, real basic, y'all. If you need more details, like I said, just ask me. You're going to obtain a seed. That seed is basically Cannabis sativa, the plant, Cannabis sativa. We're not talking about indica and the other ones because those are subspecies. Cannabis sativa is the seed that you're going to get. Okay, where would you get the seed? In your state, if it's legal, you could get it. You go to the state's website. They have resources of people who are already licensed by the state, who are growers, who are seed producers. You can get it from them. It's already been quality tested. It's legit. You're going to get what you pay for. That's a good resource. That's what I would recommend. That's what I'm going to say. Okay. So next, so you got the seed, right? Hemp or marijuana. What do you want to do with this seed? Now, basically, that plant, it has the same DNA. It's the same species of plant. They share the same DNA, the same gene. They both have cannabinoids. The only difference is legally. Cannabis with less than 0.3 of THC is considered non-psychoactive, or has low psychoactive properties, where it means that basically it's not going to make you trip or do anything crazy. It's basically going to be, most people who use cannabis at that level, like low level, who do like CBD drops, are going to use it for basically like seizures, pain relief, if they have some spasticity issues, like for instance, if they have say Crohn's disease, different things where they need to relax their muscles, just different, or HIV, where they need to basically maybe they're having issues with maybe like nausea, cancer, different things. Though that's when cannabis or CBD, that's when they're going to kind of, those are the kind of people that really benefit from the CBD drops. So because the CBD, when they get it that low level, because of that, the government decided to remove it from the Controlled Substance Act. Now, on a federal level, it's still illegal, but each state has their own law. So like I said, Louisiana, January 1st, they made it legal. So check your state's law. So that's how you can tell. So it's the same plant, same exact plant. If you look at it, you would be like, oh, how do I know if this is if this is hemp or let's say hemp/CBD, if this is hemp or if this is marijuana, if it's going to cause me to have some psychoactive effects. Really, honestly, the only way you'll know, and I'm not going to go too scientific, is if you have a THC test kit. Like if the police came in your house, of course it's going to smell like it. Well, depends on the strain. But for the most part, you're going to need like a test kit. Or they would send it to a lab. Say, for instance, they bust in your house, you got a whole bunch of stuff. They're going to send it to a lab. You know, they're not going to be able to know unless it's tested. That's the only way you can really tell. So what clarifies it, what makes it consider, oh, this person's not growing hemp, they're growing marijuana, it's the amount of THC, the THC content. Now, let me slow down because I feel like I'm talking fast. And I'm talking fast because I'm already at 6 minutes and I feel like I'm making this long, but I guess it's either talk fast, make it short, or break it down and make it long. Sorry, y'all. So basically, marijuana, the THC in marijuana, it can range between 5 to 20%. It can have 5 to 20% of THC in it. Some strands, some really strong ones, can have up to 30% or more. And that's basically how you decarb it. If you know some strands, and if you can decarb it, I've gotten them really high, like that 30% range. So it's possible. But okay, so that's the difference. The same plant is just all about how they clarified, how they classified it. It's all about the THC percent. And that's how legally, how it's determined, scientifically, medically, that's what makes the difference. Same plant, if you see it, that's what makes the difference. Okay. Some other things that I wanted to note. So the difference when you're growing it, so you got that plant, right? One of the things I like about growing hemp, you can just grow it and let it go. Like literally I could grow it and I could take it back home to my grandparents' property and just leave it. I don't have to babysit it or anything. You know why? Because it can be grown close together. I don't have to give it any chemicals, any fertilizer. I don't have to do anything special with it. Really, it's a weed. It's basically, you know, it's very easy to grow. That's hemp. That is hemp. Now, if I was growing it for the psychoactive effects, yeah, I'm gonna have to put in some work, which means if I want marijuana, if I'm trying to get high from it, if I want that psychoactive effect, it's going to require some things of me. I'm going to have to make sure I keep the humidity at a certain range, the temperature at a certain range. I'm going to have to make sure I give it a certain amount of nutrients at a certain amount of time, from the veg stage to the bloom stage, which is the flowering stage. I'm going to have to keep the males separate from the females. You know, it's a different process. You see all the little different things you got to watch out for? That with the hemp, you ain't got to do all that. That's why I said I'm so excited about this industrial hemp being legalized here. Okay, now, so say for instance, you did have, you're like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna put all that work in. I got this plant. I'm gonna put all this work in. How do I turn my cannabis plant? How do I get that cannabis level? How do I get that THC higher from lower to higher? How do you do that? You got to decarb it. You got to decarb the flower. And basically, that basically just means heat it up. So to activate that THC compound in the flower, all you have to do is you just have to decarb it. The long word's like decarboxylate. I just put decarbed. I didn't want to write it all out. You got to decarboxylate it first, which means you got to activate it. There's several different ways. I've done it. I like doing it in the air fryer because it doesn't smell. I can put it outside. Some people do it in the oven. Some people do it in the crock pot. Some people do it. I've seen them do it in coffee pots. I've seen them do it in freezers. I've seen them do it with alcohol. It's all kind of ways to do it. You can get real creative. I've seen them do it on the stove. I've been overseas and I've seen them do it on the stove top. It just depends on how creative you want to get. But that's what you got to do in order to convert it to actually make it. to actually get it to that percent, you gotta cook it first. Now, I ain't gonna say cook it, but you gotta decarb it first. If you don't decarb it, you're not gonna get the psychoactive compounds. So that's one clue, you know? Okay, so if that person's giving you something, they making something, you bought something, you can just ask the person if they're, they're a DIYer, hey, did you have to decarb this? If they say, huh? They looking at you crazy, more than likely, it's just a CBD product. It's just a hemp-based product. It does not have any of the psychoactive effects in it. Now, something I wanted to explain, because you had a question about specific strand. That was a specific strand. Okay. Let me sit down for this one here so I can get a little lower. So, cannabis plants are dioecious, which means the male and female flowers grow on separate plants. You see that? They can only cross-pollinate, not self-pollinate, meaning only the female can produce seed. Because of this reason, we have many strands of cannabis. That's why it's like over 4,000. So when you said, is there a specific strand? There's over 4,000. They coming out with them all the time, because you got them. As long as you got a seed, you got the mama. As long as you got all these men out here, baby, you can make a whole bunch of different kind of babies. Think about it like that. Some examples of plants that we grow that are like that in the garden: asparagus. You got to have 2 of those. Got to have a male and a female. Mulberry, persimmons, spinach. I have mulberry trees in the front yard. I have 2 of them. They produce. If I only had 1, I wouldn't get anything. Now, some people, they will purposely only get 1 plant. They might say, I like the plant, but I don't actually want any fruit. That's fine. Maybe because they I don't want like a whole bunch of fruit falling out of my yard. They might say, I like the persimmon tree. Somebody gave me one, but I don't want all that fruit. Well, just buy 1 persimmon and you ain't got to worry about that. That won't be a problem. Now, the difference between that and monoecious plants, which, like I said, those are tomatoes and cucumbers. They do self-pollinate. You ain't got to go out there and do nothing. They gonna do their own thing. But those kind of plants, they don't have a lot of strands. You ain't seeing 4,000 types of cucumbers. You know why? Because they can inbreed and they can produce seed. They are unisexual. I'm sorry. I didn't mean unisexual. Actually, they're not, I don't want to say bisexual. Some people consider them bisexual. But I don't want to get too scientific, because then I'll have to start talking about hermaphroditic plants like, roses and the different variation. But basically, just know that that's how the strands work. That's why it's so many different types of strands. You ain't got to worry about a particular type of strand. Is what you're going to need to do is basically focus on just making sure your seed is the cannabis sativa seed. That's it. All right, so this is 13 minutes. Hopefully I answered your questions. All right, have a good evening, y'all. Bye.